G'day everyone, it's Clem here again at Outback Mini Models, and I've got another product review. What have I got in my hand? Get your mind out of the gutter. What have I got? I've got 3 products that I purchased from IckySticky last week, and they finally arrived here on my bench. So we've got the ultra-fine Sanding Twigs, as they call them. I've also got the medium Sanding Twigs, and I've also got the fine, okay? There are other sets that they have, but these are the ones that I kind of need at the moment, okay? So I love skinny sanding sticks, which is why I bought so many. I go through them, but I've never had the variety of different grits before. Okay, I've always sort of had one that's really coarse on one side and one that's really fine on the other, which is kind of okay, but when you really need the stuff in between, it becomes a bit of a pain in the ass, because I sometimes need to be sort of continuously sanding and just building up or building down the surface, depending on what I'm doing with it. Okay, so if I go medium fine, ultra fine, that way they're in order, okay? So we've got 240 grit, 320 grit, and they're all color codes. You see the blue ones are 240, the black ones are 320. You've got the green and the gray, which is 400, 600, and then you got the purple and the brown, which is 1,000 or 2,000. Okay, so you get 10 of each, which is a 20 in total in each packet. And then what I love about this is, like, it's something so simple, okay? To everyone else, it's probably nothing, but I love how it's got the resealable, these plastic bags. Like, look, you're probably thinking I'm getting excited over nothing, but to me, I hate cutting a slip in the, like, cut a little slit in the bag and then trying to pull it out, and then later on the bag tears or they all start falling out. That way, if I can reseal it and it's labeled, I can just throw this back, because where they're going to be living when I'm not using them is I've got I'll zoom out a bit, is I've got a big plastic container, okay, which I keep all my spares, okay? So I've got that's all I have left. I've got like 3 sanding sticks left, 3 skinny ones I think, and that's it, and then I'm out, okay? These ones here are really hard to get. I can't get them where I'm at, but without having to order them online, and I don't really want to wait the time depending on where they come from, because they come from across the pond, and yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass. But these being an Australian company, I get these. This took less than a week to get to my house, so they're just gonna be like boom, straight back in here, and then when I need them, I can just grab them out, okay? So, and they're not gonna get mixed up with the rest. So let's have a look why I wanted to buy these to begin with, okay? Most modelers generically, when you're first starting out, and I'm only going through my experience. So what are we got? I'm just going through my split sanding drawer here. Okay, so I've got sanders from SMS. I've still got old school sanders from UMP. I've got the SMS metal block with adhesive sanding strips. So this is a very coarse, a coarse side, and with a really sort of fine sponge. I can't remember the grits. I'd have to go through the packaging and have a look for you. And as I started out, and I still use them, emery boards, okay? If you don't know what emery boards are, it's what you use to file down your fingernails. So I normally pick these up from those little pop-up stands that you see in the malls. They're relatively cheap, and they're not too bad, but yeah. And that's probably the thinnest you're gonna get until you start getting specialist sanding sticks, which what we've got here from IckySticky, okay? So, as you know, when you build your models, sometimes there's going to be little small crevices, nooks and crannies that none of these are going to be able to get into. I mean, like, unless you start chopping them down, and you normally start doing damage to them. When you start cutting them down, they don't really perform as good as they should, because all the edges are burred up, and yeah. But buying specialty ones like this, I find that they come in handy for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at 4 to 6. Okay, so I'm going to open these up. So we look at the 600 is green, so we're looking at the green stick. Oh, these are really nice. Alright, so as most of them do have, they've got like some kind of rigid plastic in the middle. If I bring you in, you can see it, and then they've got like a sponge surface, and then you've got, depending if they're like, if it's got an embedded grit that's sort of absorbed into the sponge like some companies do, or it's some kind of tape or adhesive paper that they put on top and it's glued down on top. I don't know how these are. Like, the more I use them, the more they break down. In time I'll be able to see what they are, but for now they feel pretty good. Okay, so why I bought them for, and it's something that I've been working on. If you follow me on certain modeling groups, I'm not with too many these days, so sort of keep it down to like maybe 1 or 2, but I'm just going to change, hang on a sec, I'm just going to change the camera, this angle of this camera. Okay, so what I've got in front of me is a 1/6 scale Boba Fett figure that I've been working on. Okay, so this thing stands 15 inches tall, so which is why I had to pause the camera and adjust it. So if I put my elbow on the bench and I stick it straight up in the air, I mean, Boba Fett almost comes to, you know, from there all the way down to my elbow. He's on like a big chunky base, which also lifts him up a bit higher, so he's probably about 14 inches by the time if you take that base off, but still, it's still a fairly big resin figure. Okay, so I've been working on that, and the sanding sticks I do have, like, they're a little bit too coarse, because what I'd done the other week while I was painting it, I used a product from Deluxe Materials called Looks Like Glass. Okay, so what it is if I can find the container, I don't know where the heck I put it. Might be back on the bench. Oh no, it's on the paint rack. Sorry for the moaning, I just had to lean over. So, Looks Like Glass, and I did grab this from Scale Autos a while back, but this stuff's brilliant. If you've never used it, give it a go. But I use this now. This replaces all my gloss work when I'm just doing, you know, like if I need to like make something look a bit brighter, or especially like lenses like in here, and then like visor, like the tint visors on certain Star Wars models. Okay, so what I'd done is when I put this on, the surface underneath, I never prepped it properly. Okay, so I don't know if I can bring this in. You can see all the imperfections in it. Okay, you can see all like the bumps and all the grooves on the edge of the black there before it touches the maroon on the front of Boba's helmet. So what I mean, like, I'm looking at any of these sanders. There is no way in heck I'd be able to sand that down without taking off the paint. Okay, so and none of the skinny sanders I've got right now are fine enough. They're all too coarse. So what I need is, I mean, like, even as a sander now, that's too long. Okay, but I don't want to cut the edges, so what I am going to do is, excuse me for a sec, I just need to grab, alright, so I'm just going to grab a crappy old pair of pliers that I've broken. These are my broken pair. They're not good for cutting plastic anymore, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my clippers and I'm going to take off barely 10 mil off the end of this. All right, so see here that snip, because it's cutting through the plastic. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this I don't know. Okay, I don't know how it's gonna come up on film, or on film, because I'm showing my age. I'm not gonna come up on this video, but see, I can grab this and I can carefully sand, work my way at it. Even if I've got to take this back to resin and I've got to paint this section again, I don't care, I'll do it. So all it is just keep working, and that's probably a little bit fine. So I'm going to go up and go up 600. I'll probably go black. So I'll take it to I'm going to go to 320. Okay, so go to 320. I'm gonna go 320 and get my clippers again. And I'm just gonna snip it. So I've actually got to get through the gloss work to smooth that down. Okay, so that's pretty much what I bought these for. And just for sanding, like, and I'm not a big fan of using like wide sanders. Like, I'll generally have one of these, well, what these are called now for me. I'll have to start using Sanding Twigs, which is what I have to start getting used to saying, because that's what they're called. But I've usually I'm gonna have a sanding twig on my desk a lot, because I sand more with a skinny sanding stick more than anything, rather than a big one, because I find that a wide sanding stick just takes away too much, because really you're ever only sanding away, you're cleaning up parts where you cut. So like if you're cutting the part off the sprue, you're going to be cleaning off the cut mark, the nub, the gate, whatever you want to call it, off your part, and you clean that up. So that's where these things come in handy. So I'm just slowly working away at it, and I don't care that it's going dull, because the idea is I'm going to repaint it anyway, this section. But I can sort of sand away without worrying too much about, or not worrying too much about taking, I'll just turn the light up a bit more so you can see what I'm doing. Just taking away those crevices, those imperfections in this gloss work, okay? See that it's taking a bit of time, but if I wanted to go coarser, I mean, I could go I can go to 240. I can use the blue one, but just for now I'm just going to take, like, I don't want to be too aggressive, because this is almost a completed paint job. And then just to clean out unclog it, I'm just going to wipe the surface of the sanding stick just on my shorts, just to get rid of the dust. And once you unclog the pores of the sanding stick, it normally gets back into it, starts working again. So it's going to take a bit of time, guys, but it's just, yeah, it's just something you just got to be patient with. But yeah, so that's the idea of why I bought these, just to show you what I use them for, and just generally, if you know, like, I'm just gonna use, like, for example, I'm just gonna change this back again. So just for example, you know, like, you're cutting out a figure, and I'm gonna get rid of these crappy clippers because they're useless. so we're just going to cut out this figure, right, off this sprue. This is just a figure, I think it's out of the Tamiya Sherman. It's a very, very old kit, but it's just one of the figures that you get. Okay, so you've got all these mold lines along the side here. All right, so you've got two options. You can either use your hobby knife to scrape the sides, or you can use a mold line removal tool to scrape the sides. Or if you don't have any of those, like, and you're a bit iffy about using a hobby knife, about getting it close to your fingers just in case you don't want to cut yourself or you're not comfortable doing it, by all means use a sanding stick and use a skinny one. Okay, well, it is paper, I can see it now that I've cut it. You can start to see the breakaway on it. So it is a paper surface. So, but yeah, so we're getting our 320, and alright, so got to get it so it works. Just take away the cleanup, like the cutoff area. See, like so. I mean, this, you could also do this like with a normal sanding stick, but if you just want to preserve any details that might be here, because this is just for demonstration purposes. If there was another, say you're setting another part and there was like details there that you don't want to remove, I mean, you can go in with a skinny sanding stick or a sanding twig. I've got to start to get used to saying. Alright, so go in with your sanding twig and just clean it up like that. And then once you're happy with it and you want to smooth it out a bit more, okay, what I'm going to do is, I hate using sanding sticks like this. So I've always found, like when I use them, I chop them down to probably about 1 inch. All right, 30 mil, and then I throw the rest back in the bag. There's the black one, so throw that in there. All right. So now I've got little cubes, and then I've got like a short sanding stick. See, I feel more with me, and this is just me. I'm not saying you have to do this, and what I'm doing is right and what you're doing is wrong. This is just me. This is how I do it, and this is how I feel comfortable. I've always cut mine down so they're really short. Like I find I've got more control when I'm using a smaller sanding stick, like a shorter sanding block like this. And 2, you're not wasting, you're not bending, because over time I found with my older sticks or the other brands I was using, I'm not saying that this brand won't do it, but as time goes along, you start using this bit, you know, this bit, this bit, this bit, and then it just, yeah, it just becomes less effective. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of waste. There's a lot of parts on that sanding sticks that you don't use because you sort of favor one end, and then it's just, yeah, and you end up cutting them down anyway to get to the new, like to the stuff you haven't used a lot of, which is what I'm trying to say. But you know, so. See, and then having it short, you can hold it in your hand like so. And this is how I've always felt comfortable when sanding small parts. See, and then just go back with the green. finer ones. And just go back over his shoulders. And the mold line's gone. And this is just an example. Like, I'm not saying, like I keep saying, this is not how to remove mold lines. I mean, there's many other ways of doing it, and there's a lot of easier ways to do it. But this is just for demonstration purposes of I want to get my sort of reaction of how these sticks perform. I mean, starting off with the fine's probably not really that effective. You've sort of got to get something with a bit more meat on it to take away that material. And I'm just gently rubbing. I'm not forcing down on the surface where I'm taking away too much detail. So it just didn't take long, but there's a mold line gone, and that's just an example of what it does. So yeah guys, I'm pretty happy with this purchase. I'm glad I'm stocked up more than anything. I think that's what it comes down to. I've got a heap of I've got a huge stock of Sanding Twigs now by IckySticky. Yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of these on my posts. You'll just see them floating around the background. So if you see anything brown, purple, blue, black, or just anything green or grey, you know these are the sanding sticks from IckySticky, Sanding Twigs from IckySticky. So yeah, thanks again. Very much appreciate for getting this this product out to me so quick, and awesome service too. I can't sort of speak highly enough of their service and how friendly they've been in dealing with for the first time ever. So yeah, thanks guys, thanks Monique and the team at IckySticky.com.au. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy this quick look at these Sanding Twigs from IckySticky. And I'm not trying to flog these off to you guys because I don't get any kickback from this. Like there's no affiliate link down below, so every time you buy them I get a bit of money off. It doesn't work like that for me guys. I've bought these out of my own money for my own personal use, and I just wanted to show you because I've never used these before. These are the first time that these things have hit my studio, and I'm just having a go at these, and I just want to show you what I think about them. So far I think they're great. Like for the money you spend on it, it's like just a touch over $10 a bag for these, so you work that it's not that much at all. So I mean, for 60 sanding sticks, you're probably looking at about $30. You know, you could probably try go elsewhere and try and find them cheaper, but you know, what's the point? You know, like I'd rather support an Australian company any day of the week than something that's from Temu or whatever. So so give them a look. Let me know what you think, if you've got them, if you've used them before, or just comment down below. Just give me your opinion on these, of what you've seen. So as I was to say, thanks again to IckySticky. Thanks to you guys for sticking around. And I do apologize for not being around like over a few years. I've just been way too busy. I've lost mojo. I've just had no ideas of what kind of video content that you guys want to watch. I did put a post the other day on Facebook, well the other week on Facebook, of what you guys wanted to see, and I actually got quite a few replies back. So now that I sort of know where this channel is heading, what kind of content I'm going to be bringing out in the near future, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for sticking around and supporting me. And as always, happy modeling, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time. Catch you later. Bye bye.